Tell us a bit of your background. Like, how did you get started doing all of this?
Well, I started in 2016. I started doing Twitch back then because at the time I was already cosplaying a lot. I had like a little bit of an Instagram following, a little bit of like Facebook. DeviantArt used to be a like art photography platform. I don't know if you remember that.
I do.
Back in the day. Now no one cares about it. But I had a tiny following there. But back then it wasn't really saturated like it is now. So a small following was still like, whoa, you have 1,000 followers. Wow, right? Nowadays though, too many people. So Twitch was trying to expand their creative program. Now people watching this now will be like, wait, that was a thing? Exactly. They stopped caring about it pretty fast. But they invited cosplayers to it, and they wanted us to make costumes on live stream in their creative category. And the incentive was that if you come on and you create costumes, we will lower the amount required to hit partnership of view counts. Because it used to be 500 viewers concurrent gaming to get partner.
Okay.
But with creative, it was only 100 concurrent viewers.
So what's a partnership do?
It gives you sub benefits. You get like more of the revenue split. You get emotes and stuff. So basically you can monetize your channel at that point.
But until then, could you monetize it all, or it just wasn't as good?
Only donations.
Got it. Okay.
Oh, so you didn't get any sub money?
No,
If
not
you're
before a partner. Yeah.
Really? Wouldn't that unincentivize people from like subbing though?
Well, they couldn't subscribe unless you're a partner.
You couldn't subscribe?
Right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, now they have an affiliate program. But before there was no affiliate. It was just partnership or bust, basically.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so that got you onto Twitch?
Yeah. And then after they stopped doing the creative program push, IRL category started surging up. So I kind of just like switched into that with my partnership already that I had gotten kind of like on Easy Street or whatever.
Yeah.
Because it was I kind of got in there before most people could. And so that kind of propelled me forward. And then IRL was just going off, which is in real life for people who don't know Twitch. And that was when you started having people doing non-gameplay activities, like going out, kind of like live vlogging at conventions or traveling or just talking to people to the chat without playing a game was considered IRL.
Yeah. Was that common before Ice Poseidon? Because he was the one that kind of introduced me to that whole like IRL streaming. Him and, was it Andy Milanakis?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
he did a lot.
Yeah, and we would see him
Yeah.
because I used to work on Sunset Boulevard, and I would see him with the selfie
You would
stick.
see him?
Yeah, yeah, because he was walking around Sunset Plaza, and he had the selfie stick with like 3 cameras and like lights shining on him.
That's
And he
crazy.
was always like walking up and down the street, and then he'd go to like a restaurant and just sit there and place it down on the table, and it was usually like just him, and he'd be talking to it while ordering food. It was wild.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
cool. You
but
saw
I was
that.
but I was always too afraid to go up and say hi.
Oh, yeah.
like-
But you knew who he was.
I knew, oh yeah.
He's hard to not recognize
Right,
because
right,
people are just like, who is this 12-year-old out here?
Yeah. Who is this 40-year-old lady? Yeah, I remembered it from MTV.
Yeah.
He had the
Yeah,
MTV
yeah.
show.
So what were you doing at the time to sustain yourself? Or was Twitch enough?
Well, right before Twitch, I was running a character company for children's birthday parties. So, like, it would be Disney without saying Disney, right? The copyright-free terms for Cinderella, like Snow White, Elsa and Anna, like Frozen, you know.
So you would dress up like
yeah,
that
I would
and
dress
then go
up.
present at a
And then I
kids'
had
party?
girls, too, who would work for me. And that we would all go to parties and do events. And we would do Make-A-Wish Foundation stuff. We would do, like, festivals around Houston. I got to be on, like, a TLC show, The Little Couple. They had a birthday party, and they
Really?
hired me to be there as the Snow Queen, Elsa. It was really cool because I got to throw the first pitch in the Astros game as Elsa because they had, like, a mommy and me day.
Sure.
So it was really cool opportunities like that.
Did that make
was
good
fun.
money?
It was pretty good money for like a non-social media. Now all of our expectations of what's good money is
Yeah.
completely skewed. But back then it was like $200 for an hour.
Are you sure? That's
$200 an hour.
fantastic.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
$200
good.
an hour.
Like, even with
regardless of
social media money, I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
still decent.
Right, but only on weekends.
Right, but
So it's-
still,
yeah,
but like
it's
an
still
extra,
a lot
like
of
you
money
do
for
that like
dressing
2
up.
hours, like $400 a
Yes.
weekend is fantastic.
Yeah, it was crazy good margins too, because then you would get the costume and you could wear that for like a year, 2 years
Yeah.
until you had to replace it.
Right.
So it was actually incredibly profitable for the time. But the unfortunate thing is, well, fortunate for me, not
Yeah.
fortunate people who stayed in the industry, things like COVID are a big killer of that industry.
Yeah.
Because then people just stop having parties for a year, 2 years, 3 years. So that really sucked. But fortunately, I made the switch before COVID hit. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was super fun because I would get to go to these extravagant parties. It would be like big homes like this sometimes, like in nice neighborhoods. And they would have a carriage waiting for Cinderella to come in. So it's like you got to be worshipped and get paid, basically.
What were the kids like when they hired this out? Like,
most of the kids were
nice,
really,
like respectful.
Oh yeah, most of the kids would listen to you more than they listened to their parents. They respected the royalty.
I believe it. Wow.
So
how much would the parents spend on one of those parties? Like, I'd imagine this is like a $3,000 kid's birthday party.
Oh, probably more than that when you get into like the River Oaks neighborhoods, like the really nice neighborhoods for Houston area. Like, Jesus, those houses alone are probably like $5 to $10 million range. You can imagine just how much they throw at a kid party. I think some of them honestly cost at least $10,000 for like a 4-year-old's birthday party.
That's great. I don't even remember being 4.
Yeah, because they would have multiple princesses. They would have the horse-drawn carriage. They would have the face painter. They would have the bouncy houses. They would have the catering, the decorations. Sometimes they would bring in a petting zoo.
Oh, man.
Is this like a birthday party, a standard birthday party?
For the rich person, yes. The rich people houses. Yeah.
Okay, so you were doing that work and then you switched over to Twitch. When did you make that switch? What was like the Twitch income versus that income that you can justify going all in on Twitch?
Well, I was doing both for a bit. And then I guess I was doing Twitch for about 6 months. So beginning of 2017 is when I kind of decided that I'm going to switch from going to the parties myself to doing the streaming thing, and I'll just send my girls out. So I was still managing it, but I was streaming full time instead.
Did you own the company?
Yes.
That you did?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so what would you pay the other princesses? Like, they would just pay you a package deal and you'd pay the people underneath you less? Make a difference?
Like starting out was like probably $60 an hour, and then I mean it's still pretty good if you're just like dressing up, and then it would go up to like $75 or $80 an hour too if they've been with me for a while.
Good business.
Yeah, it's a
how
good
did people
business.
find you? Did you market? Like, how
That's
did you
the
grow
thing.
that?
I got into it via Facebook advertising, a little bit of Google advertising too. That's actually how I got the idea to just go full time into social media, because I was already using the skills of social media marketing with my business, and I was thinking like, this is the future. Is everything's going to be online, moving that way. If I have this skill, I should just go into social media full time, go straight to the source rather than just using it to market a limited business that can't really grow beyond Houston without a bunch of hassle and headache thinking about licensing. And
now, where do you get that mindset though? Because not everyone thinks like that. Like, where did that start? You have parents that thought that way. It's like something you saw someone else do that and you're like, that's a good idea.
I think I saw it mostly because I would be in a lot of these cosplay groups, and a lot of the cosplayers were doing this kind of thing too, but in other states like California, and they would be really popular. California was a big one. I think Florida was a big one, where the parks are, right? But so they would be able to go to the park frequent enough to know what the characters look like, know how to model the costumes, know how to act and everything, but then be able to bring that into like a party atmosphere. And it was a very hot market because it's so much cheaper for some parents to hire the princess for $200 an hour than it is to take their whole family to Disney for the day, you know, and pay for all their friends.
But like the business aspect of it, like, where do you get that from?
I think
were you like that growing up as a kid?
No. I was not at all. I think it was just from watching, observing, like seeing how they were expanding their businesses and like how they were advertising. So I would get their Facebook advertisements like suggested. I would be like in their groups. They actually have groups for it. So I was just watching and observing the different Princess Company groups and seeing how they were advertising and stuff. And then I tried it myself and I found it very effective. I don't think it's nearly as effective now, Facebook advertising. They've raised prices a lot. But before, I could put like $10 to $50 into a Facebook advertisement and make like $1,000 in party bookings.
Have you always been interested in business?
Not really, no. I think it just happened when I was like going to school for costuming, was looking for money on the side, because eventually my dream was to do like Hollywood like costumes, you know, for Marvel or for like Lord of the Rings type stuff. So I was kind of just trying to figure out, how do I take my costuming skills right now and start making money, because I'm not at that stage in my life. And then it kind of just rabbit holed me down into like the business side of costumes, like with princess stuff and cosplay, and then that led to social media. So it kind of just all like piled together unintentionally for me, and I was just watching and observing and then trying it. I was like, oh.
But
did you ever have a normal job?
The most normal was working at the opera and ballet making costumes, I guess. And then I worked for some other companies before doing my own princess company. Like I was just like a contractor, not really an employee, but I would be the performer without owning the business or owning the costumes. And then I was just like, I could run this. I can make better costumes than these. And I just kind of did it.
Huh. Were you a good student, like throughout middle school, high school?
Yeah, pretty good student, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, I think high school I was like all in all the AP classes, and
Okay.
then for a while I was number 1 in my class, and then I got lazy and I dropped to number 20 when I graduated. But there was
Why'd you-
like 8 to 900 kids in the class,
Yeah.
so I guess it's still pretty good.
Why'd you
Number
get lazy?
20 is very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened there? Why'd you get lazy?
I
Senioritis?
just got tired. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I got tired of that.
Yeah.
But your
It was just-
aspirations in high school were to become a costume maker for
Yeah, so it was like this. I realized like none of this matters.
It seems
It's
like there was
kinda
like
true,
a
right?
general
Yeah.
flow. Just like
Yeah.
in one direction, you're like heading true north, and you're like, okay, just stop here, stop here, stop
Yeah.
here. But for the most part, you kind of like just like slowly progressed.
Yeah, because I got involved in theater in high school. Because at first I was like, do I want to be an actress? And I was like, maybe. But I kind of like the aspect of dressing up and like the creation behind it. So then I was kind of leaning more towards into
Yeah.
the costuming side of theater.